Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down big ideas. Today, we're talking about something kinda counterintuitive, a powerful way to find meaning not by speeding up, but by slowing way, way down. We're talking about the humble pace of a person walking. So let me just start by asking you a question, and I want you to really think about it. Could you walk 5,000 miles? I mean, no car, no plane, not even a train, just you in your own 2 feet. I know, it sounds absolutely impossible, right? Like something out of a legend? But nope. This is a true story about an incredible journey of faith that happened long before GPS or, even half-decent maps.
Okay, so let's get right into her story. Her name was Egeria, and her solo 5,000-mile pilgrimage would actually end up shaping Christian worship for centuries.
Now, you have to understand, this was a time when a woman traveling all by herself it just wasn't done. But Egeria, she just went for it. Her journey crossed what we now know as more than 15 different countries. And the amazing thing is, she wrote all about it in letters to her friends back home, which gives us this incredible first-person look at Holy Week celebrations just a few hundred years after Jesus' life.
But here's the thing, she wasn't just some ancient tourist. The whole reason for this epic trek was to see how pilgrims in Jerusalem themselves walked. From Bethany to Gethsemane to Golgotha, she watched them carrying palms the Sunday before Easter, and she wrote it all down, documenting a tradition that we've now been following for almost 1,800 years. And all this talk about walking, it connects directly to the story of Palm Sunday. Because you see, back in the ancient world, how you got around said everything about who you were.
I mean, literally, to be a pedestrian meant you were a nobody. You walked because you had to. The powerful people, the big shots like the Roman governor Pontius Pilate, they would ride into the city on a giant warhorse, literally looking down on everybody else. How you moved was your status symbol. And this is what's so fascinating. Throughout the Gospels, Jesus is almost always on foot. He walks everywhere. He's one of the common people. So for the one time he decides to ride, you better believe it's on purpose. He's making a huge statement, but it's probably not the one people were expecting. And this is where his choice of animal just flips the whole idea of power right on its head. He doesn't show up on the war horse of a conqueror. Nope. He chooses a humble, everyday work animal, a donkey. Centuries later, the great reformer Martin Luther really nailed it. He saw this choice and said, look, the donkey is an animal that works, that carries burdens. It shows that this king isn't here to dominate you. He's here to serve you, to help carry your burdens. And this whole idea, it goes way back. We're talking about a Christian hymn written maybe just 20 years after the crucifixion. It talks about this concept called kenosis, which is a fancy word for this act of self-emptying, of setting aside power and privilege to become a servant. And honestly, what better ride for a king defined by humility than a simple donkey? Okay, so this ancient idea of a God who serves, it gets this really beautiful modern update that brings everything right back to the simple act of walking.
In the 20th century, a Japanese theologian named Kusuke Koyama came up with this phrase, the 3 MPH God. And why 3 miles per hour? It's simple, really. That's the average speed of a human walking. It's Egeria's pace, the pilgrim's pace, it's Jesus's pace.
Koyama's point was that God isn't part of some jet set, zipping past us. No, God walks with us at our pace. Because as he put it, that's the speed of love. Love is slow, it's tender, it's gentle. It shows up and stays for the journey. And that brings us to a really challenging question from another theologian, John Swinton. He basically asks, look, if God is moving at 3 miles per hour, but our jobs, our culture, our whole world is screaming along at 9, who are we actually following? Have we left that gentle pace in the dust? So this all sounds great in theory, right? But what does this actually look like in our own crazy, high-pressure lives? How can we take the wisdom of the plodding donkey and apply it? Well, the good news is you can start small, super small. Just pick one thing you normally rush through. Maybe it's washing the dishes or firing off emails or your morning commute. And instead of racing, just do it with focus. No hurry. And then try to reframe it. It's not just a chore you have to get through. It's a small, steady act of service. It's like your own little daily practice of kinesis. And just picture that donkey again, walking through a loud, chaotic crowd. It doesn't freak out. It just keeps putting one foot in front of the other, patiently. That's the model for us.
When life gets crazy and the pressure is on, don't be a startled horse, be the donkey. Just keep plodding along and trust that doing the next right thing is enough.
All right, so let's bring all this home, because this isn't just some old story. It's really a new way of looking at your own life.
Let's be real, most of our days aren't about big, heroic, dramatic moments, right? They're filled with routine stuff, the commute, the chores, the meetings, and a lot of the time it can feel like we're just plodding. We're just doing a job and we don't always get to see the big picture.
So just take a second. What are those tasks for you? You know the ones I mean. The boring ones, the repetitive ones, the tasks that nobody's going to give you a medal for, but they just have to get done day after day. And this is the whole point. This framework invites us to see those tasks in a whole new light, to see that there is immense dignity and real courage in that steady, quiet work. It's the faithfulness of a Garia, and it's the strength of the donkey, just putting one foot in front of the other.
Because who knows, on any given day, in the middle of some small, unseen, plodding task, you might be doing something way more important than you realize. You might, in your own humble way, be carrying the hope of the world on your back.